One of the biggest problems in my life was not being aware of my surroundings, of being spiritually asleep. Now that I have learned to take into consideration my surroundings, I feel a bit better. Although I would not say confident. Like this was like the biggest problem of my life is what I feel. I feel like not being aware of the people that are around me, not being aware of my surroundings has really like affected me, of not acting correctly toward, certain situations, of not being aware, like I said, of not being aware of my surroundings. With that simple fact, I mean, taking it into consideration, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better, being aware of my surroundings, being aware of who's around me, you know. And so, like, I didn't know, like, as a kid, how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to be aware? No one's gonna tell you, you know. And so now that I've realized that that has been my problem, you know, I take my surroundings more into consideration on a daily basis. And that helps a lot, that helps a lot, to take into consideration my neighbors, the people that I see on day-to-day basis, the people that I talk to on day-to-day basis or throughout a work week. you know it feels different. It feels different. It feels different. I guess you could say, like, I used to be a promoter. I used to be an OPC for timeshare inside an airport, and like these people like that would come off the airplane, some of them were unaware. Some of them were unaware what a OPC is, a promoter, a hotel promoter is. And they're not aware. And so when they get to the airport, when they arrive, when their flight arrives, these promoters, these hotel promoters, are there waiting for them with a whole bunch of lies, you know. And I guess that's what I want to say, that I was unaware. I was so unaware that there was lies everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And when you're aware, when you're aware, there's some people that I would notice that, what I'm saying, that would come off the airplane, and they knew what an OPC was. They're like, they even would tell you, you're an OPC, you're a hotel promoter, get out of my way, don't waste my time. And that's the way I feel. That's the way I feel, like coming off of a flight, walking through an airport with a whole bunch of promoters, just lying, a whole bunch of lies. I used to be one. I used to be one. So there's a whole bunch of lies. It's all lies. And that's the way I feel right now when I'm taking into consideration my surroundings. A whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of lies. And now that I'm aware, I'm like, I know what you are.